Okay, so we'll start. First of all, welcome in the new location.
Yeah.
I'm honored to be the first one giving the shiur over here. It's really special.
Really special. And
No, Bezrat Hashem, we say in Hebrew, Meshane makom, Meshane mazal. You're changing your location, Meshane, you change your mazel. So we should have only a better mazel and a greater mazel. We're actually going to speak a little bit about mazel today also. What we're going to speak today is about something in the Parsha. In the Pasuk, it says, "V'lo ta'amod al dam re'echa, lo telech rachil be'amecha." You should not go and what's the word in English? You should not go and talk. How do you say? You should not go and talk with people. Someone that goes, someone comes into shul. You heard what happened to? How do you say it in English? Don't
talk.
No. These are words I'm missing. Someone that is going around and talking. How do you say?
In Dutch you say roddelen.
Yeah, but there's a word for in English. Never mind. In English, someone that goes around and talks in the neighborhood. How do you call that guy?
Roddelaar.
Okay.
Kletsmajor and not positive. It's not positive.
So you should not walk around. Lo telech rachil be'amecha. You should not walk around and say stuff about people. Okay. And then the pasuk says, "Lo ta'amod al dam re'echa." You should not stand on your brothers, on your friends' blood. Lo ta'amod al dam re'echa. What does that mean? So of course we know.
No.
If you see someone that is about to die and you're able to save him, you're not allowed to stand aside and say, "Why me? What can I do about it?"
You have to help.
You have to help, and it's not only that, you have to help. It's not that you could voluntarily go and help, but you have to work, and if not, you passed a lav of the Torah. Dank u wel.
Wat lief van jou. Jullie zijn ook meegekomen.
Ja.
Oké. Het is zo goed. Oké.
So there's a story about a person 62 years old from Chulon in Israel that in May 2007 he was on a scooter, driving on a scooter from Chulon to Azur. It's not too far from each other, and he went into a very big intersection, and a big truck hit him, and he was lying on the floor for 90 seconds. No one came over to him, and there's a camera that was on the intersection that you could see people driving around him and not stopping. 90 seconds, a minute and a half, no one stopped, and that became a very, very big thing in Israel. How is it possible? So many drivers in the morning, no one had this 1 second to stop and see what's going on until one guy stopped and checked him and saw that the guy is dead. But how come no one stopped? What does that mean that no one stopped? Don't you feel that it's responsible of you to stop when you see a person lying on the floor? He just got hit by a truck.
Do you want coffee?
I want tea, please.
Tea.
Thank you.
Schenk jij erin van?
The question is basically, when does it become your task? Everyone wakes up in the morning and he has what he needs to do in that day. Think about these people running to work, running to do whatever they need to do, and all of a sudden someone decides to go into a truck. Okay, it's his fault. What do you want from me? I have a meeting. I have a shiur I have to give. Should I stop my life? Stop everything right now because someone went into a truck? Someone that has time will stop to help him. When does it become your responsibility? When do you say this is my responsibility? And when do you say this is not under my responsibility? Where's the line? You have to draw the line and you say this is my problem, and when it's not my problem. Because if you'll take all the problems of the world on you, you won't have a life. So where do you draw the line of telling yourself this is my issue?
It's a question of common sense.
It's a question of, you're right, it's a question of common sense. But the Torah over here is telling us about such a thing, that a person is in a death situation. There's no common sense. Different.
But you don't know. Yeah. You don't know.
Why? No, if you're seeing someone that is in the sea, if you see someone that's in the sea and is going to die, is drowning, is going to die.
What if you can't help? You don't know what to do.
Okay.
That's true, but you should stop and see. Maybe there is something that you could do. Anything. You give him a hand to get out of the car. If you don't know how to swim, maybe you could put some kind of a rope and help the person to hold on to it. get other people to help. Do something, call a police, ambulance, do something. You can't just ignore and walk away. You do whatever you're able to do. You're not coming to do whatever you're not able to do. If you're not a doctor, you can't really help. But go and see, how could you help? Maybe I could bring a towel to put something cold on his head. I don't know. I could be an assistant. Many things that a person could help in a way, not ignoring the situation. It became such a big thing in Israel that there was a Chaver Knesset, one of the parliament members, that he made a law in Israel, that it's a law in Israel that you have to stop and help. And if someone did not, he could go into prison.
Sure.
If you see someone in danger and you didn't stop to help him, you might go into jail for that because you didn't know the law. In America or in other countries,
Jew and non-Jew?
in Israel, I don't know if the law goes into Jew or non-Jew. I don't believe that. I don't think the law makes a difference. Of course not. Will not make a difference.
No, you can't make a difference.
No, I don't think it makes a difference. But let's say, for example, in America or in other countries, you'll see people, someone falls in Manhattan and other people will walk into McDonald's next to just to buy a sandwich and to run.
But does halakha make a difference?
Absolutely. But a Jew and a non-Jew?
Yeah.
The Torah says, "Lo ta'amod al dam re'echa." Re'echa is a friend of yours, but also I think it means a Jew. I think a Jew. I don't think you'll be punished. I mean, I don't think you're going to go over on the lav. I'm not sure, but the thing of Kiddush Hashem is a very high thing too. So if you see something like that happen and you will stop, I think that as a Jew you won't say, is it Jewish? No, I will leave. I will not leave if it's Jewish or not. I think as a Jew we have this thing anyways of jumping and helping. It's something that we have.
In some African countries, I've been there for a long time. You must not go if a person is laying on near the road. Don't stop,
right.
Because afterwards they say you
did it.
You did.
Right, I was. Yeah.
There is also some sequence. A Kohen before an Mamzer, Talmid Chochem before Amratz. But if you have an Mamzer, Talmid Chacham before a Kohen Amratz, so it's a certain sequence what you should do.
Yes, today in the cars is a very interesting thing. Today in the new cars, okay, the intelligent cars. There's a very big, there's a big thing that they speak about it, the attics, about Jewish attics. How does it work? For example, if you're driving a car, a Tesla, whatever car that is a newer car, okay, and he has senses that he will control the car if something happens.
Yeah.
So what's happening if someone is jumping into your car, jumping in front of your car, one person, and these two people standing on the side, he has to choose if he's going to go into the guy or if he's going to turn right. So the car will take ethical decisions what you do, what you should do. So sometimes you have to, as I said, some common sense. If you see now 20 people, a bus fell down a cliff and you're able to do something to save it, and there's one person that is going to go in a truck or something, I guess then the common sense will come that you can save more lives than one life. But if you have this person and that person at that moment to take the decision, I don't know if you know if it's a mamzer, if it's a ma'aretz, you're not going to test him right now. So if you know that someone is if his life counts more than someone else, there's a good joke about this guy that is in the desert, is somewhere in Africa, and is walking with his friend, and all of a sudden they see a big tiger, massive tiger, a lion. So one of the guys takes his bag and he put his running shoes. So he says, "What are you doing? You think you're going to be faster than the tiger?" He says, "No, I just have to be faster than you." You have your life, and in a way you have to make sure that your life is protected. But you're not allowed to.
What happens with the Kohen?
Yeah, if a Kohen is allowed to become for someone that is dead, you mean, or something like that? What do you mean?
You don't know whether he's dying or not.
Right. If a Kohen is allowed to go close.
Yeah, but if he's still alive, then
we don't know.
Ja, dan moet je check voor het onzeker nemen en aannemen dat hij leeft.
I remember speaking, I think, to Zondefan, he's a Kohen.
Yes.
And I think he told me that certain things in health things, Kohanim try not to go to, I think. If you have things that you're more with deadly things, so you actually, if I remember right, I think that's what he told me. That there are places in health conditions, in health things that a Kohen will, someone that is religious, you will not go and do because you might go into a situation that you have deadly things.
Pakken we iets.
Yeah. So it's an interesting question. So now we're going to go back to what we spoke about. How do we know when is my responsibility? Where do I draw the line? Because if you don't draw the line, all the issues of the world is on you. Because you could do that and you could do that and you could do that. Where is the line to say, okay, up to here, it's my responsibility, and from here, it's not my responsibility? Rashi explains, Lo ta'amod al dam re'echa. Rashi says that you saw. If Rashi says, Lir'ot b'mitato v'ata yachol la'atzilo. If you see that he's dying and you're able to save him. From the pasuk says, Lo ta'amod al dam re'echa. You should not stand on his blood, meaning to say, if you could do anything to save him, but doesn't say that you saw it. Maybe you heard it. Give you a story, interesting story, a private story. My father was very sick, and he was lying in hospital, and he was 43 years old, and he had cancer in his brain, and it wasn't an easy situation, and he was going into operation. Now, a brain operation. Before you do a brain operation, they check everything before to see what they damaged, what was okay before. So he went down to have I remember it was in Hadassah in Karim on the 7th floor, and he went down to have his brain scan, and he was actually going for an eye test.
For?
An eye test. An eye test. And he went down there, and in those years, in that moment of his life, he didn't have any money. He really was not in a good situation. He never had money, but in that situation, he was not doing well. And he went down to the test, and after a few minutes, he comes back again. They took him, the whole crew took him down. All of a sudden, my father comes up. So he's like, what's going on? So he called, I had two brother-in-laws at that time. He called them, two brothers. He went to the room, and he told them, listen, I need 3,000 shekel. And I'm going to give a check, but please be with me. Like, if I need it, you'll help me to get the money. He went down to test what's going on. He wrote a check, 3,000 shekels, and he went downstairs. What was the story? There was a lady. How do we know the story? A few months after my father passed away, I get a phone call from the hospital. Hi, is Uzi there? My father's name was Uzi. Is Uzi there? No, unfortunately, Uzi passed away. How could I help you? Says, listen, there's a lady here that wants to say thank you. Thank you. What's the story? So listen, when your father had his test done, there was a lady in the next room. The lady was crying. And my father asked, why is that lady crying? He heard her, didn't see. Why is she crying? He says, because she has a tumor behind the eye and she doesn't have money to do the operation. And the surgeon was willing to do it for free. But the room for the hospital cost money and she didn't have the money. Mm-hmm. So my father said he does not want to know who's the lady. They don't want to see her. He just want to know how much is it. And he went upstairs and he gave a check to pay for the operation. When she was operated, they realized that was not only behind the eye, it was a massive. If it wasn't at that moment of him giving the money for the operation, she would have died. It was a very heavy thing. They thought it was a small thing, and he saved her life. And that's why he came, and that's how we knew about the story. I remember him coming up, talking to my brother-in-laws, but we didn't know about the story. Why do you need 3,000 shekels? Now we didn't ask questions, But he came down, and then later
but your father had the money.
Your father had the money.
He didn't have the money. He had my brother, and he somehow got the money in order to give this lady. Yeah. And he never knew who's the lady. The lady asked later, who was the guy that helped me? I want to say thank you. He was not here anymore. But I'm saying Rashi goes to the thing that if you see a situation, you have to help. How about hearing? No. Hearing or being involved in something, okay? You're hearing that someone that is in a big mud and you're able to save him in a way. If you heard him, according to Rashi, you're not obligated to go. Only if you're seeing it. And that's very strange. Where does Rashi take that pirush from the pasuk? It's not a simple thing to say that, and we don't find, other mefarshim don't explain that way. They say, of course, if you hear anything else. So we have to see, how does it work?
Especially when the person is Jewish, because what is our opinion that he will be able to have the next Shabbos is alive. That Nochi has not the same obligation as a Jew.
Right. We say כל המציל נפש אחת מישראל. We don't say כל המציל נפש מהעולם. But still, a human being could also serve Hashem. If he's doing whatever he needs to do, he's serving Hashem. He's keeping the 7 laws of Noah. He's doing whatever he needs to do. In Kathmandu, I remember there was a very hard earthquake a few years ago. Maybe you remember. It's around
where?
In Kathmandu, Nepal.
Okay.
2013, something like 2013, 2014, kind of like that. There was a very hard earthquake over there, and Chabad was giving out food to all the Nepal people. I mean, you see it all over the world. In Turkey, if there's human beings in need, of course we go. There was a bar mitzvah of one of the shluchim in Africa. His son made a bar mitzvah in Nigeria, I think it is. Nigeria.
In Nigeria,
yeah. His son had a bar mitzvah, and what they did for his bar mitzvah, they made a will. How do you call it? A water. Put. They digged a put for the people there that they should have water. That was the bar mitzvah thing. They took the boy, they bought a big truck, they made a hole down, and they made a water tub, because people don't have water over there. So that was his bar mitzvah good deed. Well, it's not Jewish. It doesn't have to, of course. Jew or non-Jew, of course, we have more obligation for Jewish because we believe, but a human being is a human being that we have to help. So as we said, in different countries, the halacha, the law is that you don't go and give help. Like you said, in Africa, you can see in Manhattan, people will see someone lying on the floor, needs help. People will just go back and forth, and they didn't do anything bad according to the law. They could be good people and go over, but they don't. I was once in Russia, and a guy collapsed in front of me, and the shaliach that was there told me, Akiva, come. So what do you mean come? Someone needs help. He said, don't touch. If you touch, you become part of the thing, and maybe you caused it. Like you said, exactly the thing. So actually, you don't go and help.
Yeah.
But you could always call the police. You could always call the ambulance. The people try not to be part of the scenario in order not to get into problems. So the Torah does not allow that to happen. And everything comes from our parasha. The Parshat Hashavua, Parshat Kedoshim. It's one of the shortest parashot in the Torah. There's 64 psukim in Parshat Kedoshim. 51 from them are actually mitzvot. We have 613 mitzvot in the Torah. But how do you count the mitzvot? Every parasha has in the subject all kind of mitzvot that we pick out from the Torah. So this parasha, from 64 psukim, 51 mitzvot are taken from our parasha. So we see that this parasha is a very important and full with mitzvot. From 613, 51 in such a short parasha, it's a heavy parasha. It has a lot of value for the mitzvot wise. Another interesting thing in this parasha, a lot of the parashot in Sefer Vayikra begin with Daber el Bnei Israel. Daber el Bnei Israel. Daber el Bnei Israel. Most of them start with Daber el Bnei Israel. Talk to the Jewish people. Our parasha starts differently. Daber el kol adat Bnei Israel. Not Daber el Bnei Israel. Daber el kol adat Bnei Israel.
What is adat?
Adat is a gemeenschap, I think, right?
Ja, maar het verschil tussen Adat en bijvoorbeeld Kila of...
Yeah, Adat is the group. The group. Adat is the group. Yeah, is a group. Kol Adat Bnei Israel. We don't find that. We find one more place and we say Adat. We say El Kol, to all, to everybody. Where do we find that? Ne'emra behakel. We find Vayakel Moshe et kol הזמן. Vayakel Moshe et kol adat bnei Israel ve'omer alehem k'chu meitchem truma. Straight after the Matan Torah, Moshe Rabbeinu gathers the whole Jewish people and he tells them Vayakel Moshe et kol adat bnei Israel ve'omer alehem k'chu meitchem truma l'Hashem It's a very important thing. You go now to build a bit of Mikdash. You call everybody in order to get everybody involved, to get everybody to participate, to donate. So once was the rabbi, they were planning to build a new shul, a new center. So the rabbi called the community and it tells them, I have good news and bad news for you. So the good news is that we already have all the money for the project. The good news.
The bad news?
The bad news is that it's still in your pockets.
I said the same back.
So Vayakel Hashem, they're coming now to build the Mishkan for the Kadosh Baruch Hu. They called everybody together. So why is our parasha different than all the other parashot from Vayikra that said Daber el Bnei Yisrael, Daber el Kol Adat Bnei Yisrael? What is special? Because in our parasha we have solid mitzvot, we have very heavy mitzvot, and as we said, one of the biggest mitzvot that we have is Lo Ta'amod al Dam Re'echa. You should not stand on the blood of your friend. You should not stand. And we see also the Torah doesn't tell you save your friend, but it's telling you in a negative way. Lo ta'amod al dam re'echa. You should not stand on his blood. Why is that? Why is it not saying save him? If you see someone that is dying, save him. No, it's coming from the other direction. It's doing like this. Lo ta'amod al dam re'echa. The reason is, as we said before, because some countries, it's a free thing, or don't touch at all. So maybe we will learn from other nations that if someone falls on the floor, you don't want to be part of the scenario. So the Torah is not giving it to you as a nice thing of help your friend, be nice to your friend. No, don't stand. You're not allowed to move away. You see someone, do it. As Biden says, don't. You're not allowed to move. You need to do whatever. This is your task now. And this is what Hashem wants you now to do. Rabbi Yonatan Eibeshitz, he was a famous rabbi. He was a rabbi of Hamburg, very famous, very smart person. Hachatam Sofer and other big rabbis explain it in different ways, this thing. And he says that the reason why this parasha starts also with Kol Adat, with crowding all the Jewish people together and telling them over the things, is because because every get together is Kedusha, is holiness. Why getting together is a holiness? What is the reason why we get together? The whole purpose of Judaism is Tikkun Olam. Better the world. Some people take it to different directions, Tikkun Olam, but the actual thing is Hashem created the world. 2,000 years before Hashem created the world, He wrote the Torah. It says in the Zohar that a Torah kadma la'olam, the Torah came before the word 2,000 years.
Was the time already created?
There was no time created, but in our limited things, is it like time of 2,000 years? So Alpayim, it says in the Zohar, Alpayim shnin kadma Torah la'olam, and it says istakel be'oraita. Kadosh Baruch Hu looked in the Torah and built this world. So basically, it's like going and buying a new machine, and you have a book that explains to you how to work with the machine. The Torah is the book, is the blueprint, is to teach us how to live this world. So we as Jews, we have the Torah and we have this wisdom. We have to show the world the light. We have to show them how to live. So Bnei Israel is coming together for Tikkun Olam, for giving you special laws of how to make this world a better place, in order to live our life in the maximum way, in the best way we could live. What is the best way? First of all, to continue life, to have a family, continuation. Some people have careers. They say we'll do our best in our career, and after that there'll be a book maybe about us. But that is not the way of Hashem created the world. Hashem created the world ledorotechem, that we should take it over to the next generation. So a person, first thing that he could do is to have a family. And then when you have a family, to have harmony in the family, to have good midot in the family, to have respect to your parents, to put money aside for tzedakah, to work, to do nice money, and to to live in an honest way, living and making your money in a right, honest way, to be part of the society. It's also something that is very important in life, to be part of the society, to keep your mouth from Lashon Hara. Try not to speak Lashon Hara. And
very difficult.
Very difficult. My mother, after my father died, she remarried. She waited for me to get married, and then she remarried. The husband she married, unfortunately, also died. This person was a very quiet person. He was a doctor, very knowledgeable person. He had a lot what to say, but he didn't say much. And after he died, my mother told me, when we were dating, he didn't have much demands. He said one thing: in my home, please, no Lashon Hara. So my mother told me it basically filtered many percent of what people talk.
My great-grandfather, Leiser Asher, I have a talk from him, which is a big father. He was Sophia, and it was a big room, and where the ladies of the Gabronim were talking a little bit. Then he left the room. He left it.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, Lashon Hara is a very hard thing. So, what is the right way to be together? As we said now, what is a Jewish life? Or we just brought now all the things: family, keeping your family in a nice way, parnasa, working in a good work, doing it in the right way you should do it, being involved in society, and not talking Lashon Hara, being in a good way, keeping this world. This is the way that a good person, a good human being, should live his life. This brings Kedusha. When a person learns in such a way, when he is devoted to these things, that brings Kedusha to the Olam. Because if you are going in the right way, it's adding a lot of value next to you also. People see it and they also act in that way. It's good energy around you. You're creating a healthy surrounding around you. This is a healthy
environment
and healthy environment around you, and that is kedusha. To live in a healthy environment, that is part of the kedusha. The world is not a healthy environment today. No,
it has never been.
But I think it's going worse. I didn't live when you were a child, but I think it's getting worse and worse.
Oh Hashem, you didn't live then.
Oh Hashem. It's getting worse in a way. So we see things are going better, much better. People are living longer. Health-wise, it's much better. We know much more. Health.
We think we know much more.
We think we know much more, but I think in emotions, okay, and psychologia. Psychologies and all of those things that speaks about our nefesh, about our
soul,
about what's going on inside a person. From what I understood, 80 years ago was very different, right? There was less intention about what you feel and your whole mental condition. There was less. So today we know more and we're able to help the people more and do more. Medicines are better. I mean, people are living for longer. But from the other side, people don't have a split second for themselves. That's with the phones. The whole life is one big.
It's changed.
It's changed. It's changed. They say that a child went over to his father in America. His father was a very busy businessman. He told him, "Papa, how much do you earn an hour?" He says, "What do you want from me? Leave me alone. You know this thing? How much do you earn an hour?" And father didn't say, "Yeah, and $150 an hour." Okay. After a week, the son comes over to his father with coins and notes. "Papa, I have here 150 euros. Could you please give me an hour? Could I have you for 1 hour?" We don't have an hour. We did every second with something else. Busy, but it's all good. We're doing good things. No one is playing games. But we don't have our lives. We have other things that are running our life. I'm dealing a lot with a lot of people that contact us as Chabad, okay? Someone could now, I don't know, he wants to come to Amsterdam, he has, whatever it is. He sends you a message, sends you an email. If you don't react, if WhatsApp in minutes, You get question marks after a few minutes. Hello, I asked you something. Where's the response?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but are you my boss? Do I have to answer? But it became something that you have to answer. But if I'm in the middle of preparing a shiur right now and I cannot answer, you cannot live in a. So what did Hashem did good for us years ago already? But now for more than other generations, Shabbat. A person has Shabbat. We're living. If a person keeps the Shabbat, he has 24 hours that he's with the people. Huh?
It's the best day of the
Best day of the week.
It's easier to explain to non-religious people, to Goyim, that why to keep Shabbat.
Today?
They said,
Today?
Absolutely.
just pushing, if no work.
She can't understand.
Yeah.
But now I use 24 hours, not my
television.
Yeah.
they understand.
Yeah.
You just understand.
You sit with your family for 24 hours. You're sitting around the table and there's no buzzing and no moving and no going outside for a phone call. It's something that people cannot understand. So we say this getting together is something very, very special of being together. It's a very, very special, it's kadosh. It's kadosh. It's something that you don't see these days. When you come to shul and it's inspiration of the shul, you can't get it anywhere else. You cannot get it anywhere else. It's a kadosh. It's something holy. It's something that makes us different from the goyim. It's something that we have that is different that people don't have. That is kedusha. Community is kedusha. So that's why this parasha is speaking very deep things about very solid things. It's part of the kedusha, and that's why the Torah is saying Kol Adat Bnei Israel should come all together. Someone said once they were sitting together a few people from different from different religions, and it says, we also do it, but we do it different. It says the Jewish lives, is natural lives, but in a very different level. Why? Because kedusha is something that is asking you to live your life l'shem shamayim, because you're not doing things that you might want to do, but you're not doing it. Why? Because Hashem is telling you not to do it. So you're not living your own life. You're living your life, but you know that someone that is above you, he knows better. It's like a child. A child wants now, a child wants a knife. He's 3 years old. You don't give a child a knife because it's dangerous for him. But he wants it. Give it to him. He has freedom. You don't give a knife to a little child. We have things in life that Hashem knows what's better. He knows what's better for us, and He gave us laws. So it's not that we are is a dictator and don't do that and don't do that, but it's better for us to live our lives. So a few people came together around the table, and they had a symposium about religions. And at the table was a rabbi, was a priest, and was a Buddha, someone that was Buddha. And a lady stood up and says to the rabbi, "Rabbi, I was born Jewish, but I have my ways to get closer to God. Why should I be so? Why should I be Jewish? I find my ways to go closer to God." So she says, I, for example, really admire the Dalai Lama. I think that Dalai Lama is a very special way, is a very modest person. He makes peace between nations. Maybe his way is a better way for me. So that rabbi, he prayed that Hashem will put the right words in his mouth, and then he says, "Listen, whoever knows the person, really knows the person, is his wife. I think we should call the wife of the Dalai Lama and ask her how he's a husband. Is he really the person perfect person that we should follow his thing?"
Was hij getrouwd?
Is he married, Dalai Lama?
I've never heard of it.
He's not. That was a rabbi, a smart guy. So listen, who knows the best the person?
Yeah,
His wife knows the best the person. Who is he? Who really is the husband or the wife? The husband know who is the person, who is the character. So listen, call his wife and let's ask her if he's the perfect person. She says, "Rabbi, the Dalai Lama doesn't have a wife." Yeah. What do you mean call his wife? Exactly like you said. He said, "Okay, so you know what? So it's not, you can't really test this thing." Why? Because a Jew comes back home and he has a wife and he has kids and he has mess and he has this child to change his diaper and that kid to take out of that. then you could test the person. But if a person goes home and he has flowers and he has nothing around him, where is he living the life? He's not living the life. He's basically putting part of life aside, and he's living something that is not. It's not real life. It's not reality. It's like, I was talking Pesach. Pesach is beautiful. Even Chol HaMoed, it's a regular day. You could use it, but you're in some kind of a bubble. And then day after Pesach, you have to pay the bills. It comes the reality. Hello, down to earth. Life is continuing. But if you live in a bubble, that's not a way of living. The way of living is the Jewish way. Don't put yourself aside. Don't get married because material life. No, get married, but make your life to become together. Two individuals that come together and becoming one. And becoming one these days, it's not a simple thing. The majority don't keep it's very hard to keep families together. You have to really work on yourself in order to be able to keep a family together. So we say in the religious world, you have ahava, love. Ahava in Hebrew comes the letters aleph, hey, vet, hey, comes together to 13. Ahava. Okay? So if you have two people that have ahava, 13 and 13, it comes out to 26. 26. If you put two people together, they put themselves aside for a higher thing, for a better thing, a bigger thing of family. Because who at the end of the day, it could be such a headache. Who needs it? No. Have a good life. Make your own thing.
Heb je nog thee voor hem?
Ja, je hebt ze niet gegeven.
If you make a good living, what do you want to get married for? They say, how could a person become a millionaire? Know this joke? How could a person become a millionaire? How could a person become a millionaire?
If you have
the question was different.
Million did success.
If you have 2 million, then
millionaire. No, the question was different. Excuse me. How could your wife make you a millionaire?
No.
How could your wife make you a millionaire?
I don't know.
If you were a billionaire.
Yes.
People could say, why do I need this whole thing? Because it's not about ourselves. Of course, a person could have joy. And I'm not saying that it's not nice to have a family. It's beautiful to have a family. But someone that will think logically, why do you need all this? Or make it smaller? Or, cut off whatever. No, we're doing it because Hashem is asking us to do it. This is the right way of living our lives. Toda Rabba. Thank you.
It's a little bit late, but
it's good. It's good. Thank you. So we have a person, as we're seeing over here, that is living a life. He has his life, and he has his wife, and it's part of his life, and you have to see how you're going to work it out together. But you have a very big obligation.
How long have you been married?
Me? Soon 17 years. 17 is tov. When I reached 10, it was funny. When I reached 10, I have a friend that got married a month before me with a very good friend of my wife. So we're approximately the same time. So when you reach 10, a month before me, I said, listen, if you reach 10, I think you should stay. I think you should stay. We had a couple came to Chabad a few years ago to celebrate 60 years. They came to Holland to celebrate 60 years together. He's 85, she's 83, 60 years. Nice. So Dovi, Baruch Hashem. So Dovi, my nephew, Rabbi Dovi, is in Chabad in town. He runs the Shabbat there. So he told them, I think at this point, you know that you're going to stay forever. 60 years together, Baruch Hashem. Not everybody has the schut for that. Baruch Hashem. Okay, so we should continue. So we see an obligation between a husband and a wife to take care of each other. And it's something that not always it's an easy thing. Everyone is different, but you put yourself down in order to take care of your wife. An interesting story that I heard during the wars, during the years of the war, the Lubavitcher Rebbe was in France. Before he went into America, he was in France. And he was his father-in-law that was already in America got out. He really worked hard to get them out of France to America. And he was busy with a lawyer for papers to get the visa to get to America. And one day he came over to the lawyer, and the lawyer was all excited. We got the permission, and the lawyer said, "Let me send a letter to your father-in-law that was working so hard to get you out of here. Let me send him a letter. Let me tell him. He said, I have a lot of respect to my father-in-law, but I think my wife should know first. He went to tell his wife. It's most important to tell his wife. Okay. Let's talk about this one. So what does the Torah basically wants to tell us about Lo Ta'amod Al Dam Re'echa, this pasuk? The pasuk says, as we said before, Lo Ta'alech Rachil Be'amecha, Lo Telech Rachil, you should not walk and, that's a whisper, there's a word in English. Gossip? Something.
Gossiping.
Thank you. Gossiping. I was waiting. I was looking for that word. Gossiping. Exactly. Don't go around. And then the pasuk says, "Lo ta'amod l'adam re'echa." But it looks like one sentence. Lo telech rachil. Lo ta'amod l'adam re'echa. There's no vav. Lo telech rachil, and don't stand on the blood. No. Lo telech rachil. Lo ta'amod. Don't go on. Gaspar, and not and don't stand on the blood. Looks like one sentence. Why does it look one sentence? From here, Rashi takes his thing of only if you see a situation, because lo telech rachil is about talking. Lo ta'amod l'adam re'echa is about seeing, because you saw the situation. The question is, what is the difference over here between it? So we say about Lashon Hara, we find that Shaul HaMelech killed Achimelech and 85 Kohanim because he heard that Shaul, because he heard that Achimelech had David HaMelech. Achimelech hosted David. Achimelech hosted David. Shaul heard that and he killed him and 85 Kohanim. Why did he do that? Because he heard Lashon Hara. So you see from Lashon Hara, from listening to Lashon Hara, look what bad thing a person could do.
Is that why we have so few Kohanim today?
Maybe.
A lot of. More Kohanim, a lot of Kohanim.
I have to tell you something very important.
Yeah.
I apologize, but I have to leave. My wife is very ill, and we're married almost 63 years.
It's a good doctor's appointment.
Doctor appointment. I wish you בהצלחה רבה, and should hear only בשורות טובות. We're going to be done soon, so you didn't miss much. Take good care. Good.
Je weet nu de weg?
Came
Ja.
Dus, nou, je komt er vast van uit.
Nee, maar ik bedoel dus de zijkant. Nee, okay. Niet links, want dan ga je onderdoor. Maar terug kan je onderdoor.
שנים רבות.
All the best. All the best. All the best. Bye bye. Nee,
okay.
De dokter komt. De dokter komt bij.
Ja, het is hele slechte nieren.
Ja, nee, ja, goed.
Okay. She didn't want to. Weet je het ook weer?
Dialyse, dat kan niet op een bepaalde leeftijd. Eddie krijgt ook geen dialyse.
Nee, maar Eddie is...
Eddie is niet.
Eddie is niet erg... hoe is het trouwens, by the way?
Slecht.
Slecht, ja.
Nee, ik was gisteren slecht. Dat is...
Nee, als de nieren het begeven, jongen, dan is het einde verhaal.
Yeah.
I'll go over to something that will conclude the shiur. Why does Rashi say the word of seeing? What is so important about seeing? So basically, seeing is, there's nothing like seeing. To see something. If you heard something, you heard. Today, they could give you sound. Okay, today you could also see things that didn't happen. You could see people talking and they're not saying the words. They play around. You could do other things. But seeing is not necessarily, seeing is something that is a fact. Okay? A Dayan could paskin only what he saw. What he's seeing the Edim, he could paskin. But if a Dayan saw a situation, he cannot be the Dayan because he saw. You have to be very careful. But what you see is a fact. What you hear, you could doubt. I heard, maybe I didn't hear right. But by seeing is definite. You saw it, and it's for sure. This is what I saw. You can't take it away from me. I saw it.
Then you are a witness.
Then you're a witness. If you hear, you'll have a witness. You heard it.
Often when a few people see the same thing happening, then later on they have three different stories. Everybody has own explanation about.
True.
But sometimes if someone tells you, it comes deeper in your heart than you just see it.
There's nothing.
Your life, this.
They say about someone that comes out from a car accident. Few people in the same car, and some people come out with trauma. Some people come without trauma. Well, why is it? It's because the situation that the person was in the same moment. At that moment, something happened to the person. Some people took it in such a way because their condition in that moment was in such a way that they got a trauma. Some people didn't. But seeing something, you can't say if you saw it. It's aniraiti. You can't. If someone heard something, you heard from something. You heard. That's why also in everything has to be written. Why? Because it's written. It's down. I could see it. Listening. Maybe someone made it.
The driver.
But it was a driver.
If
it was a driver.
If a witness tell about.
But it's all.
Tell about it later on.
Yes.
And then you hear different things about the color of the jack of the jacket.
But I don't. If two people saw an accident, they both will say there was an accident. Someone say, okay, I think it was a Golf, and someone will say it was a Porsche, but it was an accident. No one will say no, they were playing. It was an accident. It was something that happened over there.
Hij heeft zijn telefoon vergeten. Hij heeft de look of iets.
Ja, hij is natuurlijk weg nu.
Dan neem ik hem wel mee. Go ahead.
So seeing is something very important. What do we learn about the seeing? About you were there. Basically, Hashem is putting you in places in life that He wants you to be there. That's why you're there. So if Hashem put you in a scenario that someone fell, God forbid, or someone needs your help, Hashem put you in that position. So by you not helping out, basically you're missing your shlichut in your life. You're not doing the purpose that Hashem brought you to this life. What you need to fulfill in this life is now to help, because if you shouldn't been here, Hashem would not put you here. So by you being here, this is something that you need to do. They say that before a person is born, there's three things that I just read very nice. Three things that is already decided for a person. When a person is born, three things. The first one is who he should marry. Bat kol yotzet, 40 yom lifnei yetzirat havlad, 40 days before the beginning of being a baby, being 40 days before. There's already bat kol yotzet, ben ploni leplonit. They're standing.
Hij zegt ja.
Hij reed net weg, ik ga niet rennen. Ik breng hem naar bed zo lang.
So 40 days before, we said this. Seeing is something very important. I'll just say it in 2 words, because when you see something, basically, you know that Hashem put you in this place to be here today. In order to help, Hashem didn't just put you here, just pass by. It's ashgacha that you are here now because you need to act something. So by you not doing what you need to do, basically you're not fulfilling your job in the world. So by you being in a scenario, Hashem wanted you to be there. So we just brought these 3 things that are decided for a person before he was born. Okay, he who will marry, 40 yom lifnei yetzirat havlad, ben ploni leplonit, where he's going to live, and parnosa, what he's going to work in, what's going to do. Okay, so you say, okay, what is so important about where you're going to live? Who you're going to marry? It's important. It's going to be a partner. What are you going to do for parnasa? It's also important. What are you going to parnasa? But what's about going to live? What's if you're living here? You're living in Australia?
Can be very important.
Yeah.
Where you live?
Yes, of course.
Of course, we know that it's important. But why is, for yourself, if you live here, if you live somewhere else, what is the big deal It's not only about the surrounding, it's about the location always, also. The location. Basically, what we want to bring out of here, of course, it's important. Surrounding makes a lot of a person, a sviva, but also what's important is over here that every person has his shlichut in his place where he is. He didn't come to this place for nothing.
You can say afterwards, but everybody has it. What shall I choose? Shall I stay in Holland? Shall I go to Israel? So
You
now
have
I say,
a free choice.
it was, I had to be here, but it was a choice I once did. So
yeah. So this is about free
choice.
will. Free will is a very, very wide thing. But the question is it a free choice? Meaning to say, wasn't this planned for you? Wasn't this planned for you? And you just went by the thing that was planned for you?
Afterwards, so
you know afterwards. But many things also we don't know afterwards. Things happen to us, and we don't know afterwards why they happen. Sometimes Hashem gives you the explanations why it didn't happen. Oh, Baruch Hashem, I did so because if not, I would have done so. But basically, there is a pattern that was chosen for us. We think we have the choice, but it's not. We do have. It's a very, very thing of.
I thought I had a choice, but
Hashem gave you to do the choice, but basically that was you. He knew that's what you're going to choose. There's a very big discussion about Chet HaEgel. Chet HaEgel was not planned.
No,
it was. At the end of the day, Chet HaEgel, Hashem, it's part of the plan, because we learned tshuva from Chet HaEgel. There's a lot of things that we learned from Chet HaEgel that made us into who we are today. So it's hard to say it, but it is part of the plan. So of course we can say later, Ashgacha Pratit, that this happened, but our whole life is Ashgacha Pratit. The moment the person understands that his life is Ashgacha Pratit, it's easier. You see it.
I'm 45 years Rabbi in the Geradau. So sometimes you say, this was my destiny.
Exactly.
There's a reason to be here.
I know, Geradau.
You know, yeah.
My nephew is the rabbi there today. Yeah, Rabbi Dovi.
So that was also planned.
Of course it was planned. It's planned. Everything was planned. You come in life into things in life. To meet him, our neshamot had to meet. Yeah, everything is so planned. So if a person knows that this location is his shlichut, because some people can say, listen, what am I doing here? I should go somewhere else. But if you know, I came here, there's a reason why I'm here. Maybe tomorrow I'll be somewhere else.
Also, I met your grandfather, so now
You see, you met my grandfather. Yeah, so now everything
come from him.
Everything is b'ashgacha. Everything is b'ashgacha pratit. So you come to a place, you could say, listen, who said this is my place? For today you're here, the present is, they say the past is past, the future, and the present is a present. You're here now today, you have your shlichut here today. If you go somewhere else tomorrow, it'll be tomorrow. Where do we learn it also from? We learn it from the Mishkan. Bnei Israel in the desert, they used to go, and every place they used to put up the Mishkan. But who said maybe tomorrow you're going to continue? Why build it now? We build, we lose some stuff, people, but why? Maybe in 5 years, you know what was 5 years? 5 years is a long time. A lot of things could happen in 5 years. Depends how you look at it. 5 years could be nothing, but 5 years could be a long time. So you're here now, do the best that you can do now. And this is what Hashem wants you to do. It's not that you came here now and you just, happen to be here. And now what do you have to do? How could I give? You're here now, you for sure have what to do and what to give. And it's in very, very important things. So if a person was in a scenario where someone is going to die and is able to help, he has an ability to help, he's not allowed to not help. Because this is your shlichut. And that's what you have to do. And if you don't do it, you go over mitzvah lo taseh, a mitzvah lo ta'amod al dam re'echa. You have to do it. So that's why in Judaism it's so important, because we know that every person has a shlichut. If you will live with a feeling of shlichut, of meaning life, I have a mission in life, I'm just passing my days, it's a very hard to live in such a way.
So we're getting all that. I was also from an aunt of mine, she had many sisters in Israel. And they were very senior, you should come here. And we also went to Israel. But later on in life, you hear the real histories. They were in Bergen-Belsen and they were exchanged. So they never choose to go to Israel, but they just came
to Israel.
So
we should be the second group. We zouden de tweede groep zijn die uitgewisseld worden. Maar alleen de
Ja, mijn
eerste groep
ouders
is
stonden ook
gekomen.
op die lijst, maar toen waren ze al bevrijd door de Amerikanen.
Nee, maar wij, nee, de tweede groep
Ik heb het nu in
dat
Bergen,
mocht niet. Berlijn had er iets.
ik heb nu in Bergen-Belsen vorig jaar, heb ik al die stukken gezien, waar zij ook met de bio's
Ja,
op dezelfde lijst stond van
Elibio.
Zuid-Amerikaanse Joden.
Ja. Dus, wat was Meshuggah? Dat was
Ja.
Meshuggah. Dat was gewoon de vader van Elibio. I'm sorry to disturb you, but the father of Elibio created a fancy land in South America. And the Germans, they accepted it in the beginning. Afterwards,
My grandmother had a real Argentinian passport.
Ja.
She has nationality.
Ja.
En de verzet, het verzet.
Ja,
Ze
resistance.
hebben daar valse paspoorten van gemaakt om andere mensen te helpen.
So the copy from that.
Van
your grandmother.
Van mijn grootmoeder.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, Baruch Hashem. So this is it. We should know that we have all our shlichut. We have the reason why we are here. How did I end up in Holland? You know, when I came here, someone told me, you're a son-in-law of Jacob, son of Forrest. I said, no, I'm.
No, you're not family.
I'm not family.
You're not
When
family.
When I brought down my nephew, I said, I'm starting my own mafia now. I'm starting my own
Come here
mafia.
because was it a select or was it did you
I was living in Switzerland. I was planning to live in Switzerland. That was the plan, but then I saw it was not working out, and I asked where is somewhere to go. In Holland, 13 years.
30, yeah.
Yeah. So someone told me, it's they're looking in Holland, and I was in touch, and I came. I didn't. You know what's family? My brother-in-law, I have a Dutch. His mother is Dutch. My brother-in-law, his mother is Dutch. And for me, that was Holland. You know who is that? You remember Cecile Eitje?
Yeah.
So she has a sister living in Israel, Miriam.
Yes.
She's married to Factor. Factor. You know them?
Yes.
Miriam.
Yeah.
You know all of them. So her son, Gershon, is my brother-in-law. So for me, Holland was my brother-in-law. When I came here, this is who I knew, you know. And Cecile, she was alive then. She was So this is life brings you to a place, and this is your shlichut. This is your place. You should work, and you're not allowed to stand aside and says, what do I do? What am I doing here?
and you're disappointed or not?
I'm disappointing. Chas v'shalom. Chas v'shalom. Chas v'shalom. Baruch Hashem.
It's a small community.
It's very expensive here, but besides that, Baruch Hashem.
Switzerland, I think Switzerland is more expensive.
Listen, you wanted to stay in Switzerland.
Switzerland is more
Which
expensive.
is even much more expensive.
In Switzerland, I was getting a salary. Over here, I'm giving salaries. So it's a little bit different.
Listen,
A little bit
I
different.
think
But
you're
Baruch Hashem. I'm wishing you all a good day, successful day.
Wait a moment. It was very nice, and we always want to have you back if you want.